I'm joined by UFC bantamweight Adrian Yanez. I mean, call him the bonus king for that matter, because he's coming off another performance of the night bonus UFC on ESPN 27. He finished Randy Costa in the second round. What's up, Adrian? How you doing?
Man, what's up, man? Blessed. I'm back home. Super excited. I can't wait to see what's next.
Yeah, I know it's been a busy, a couple days for you, but what is this fight like? What is this win? I know you weren't too happy about it in the post-fight press conference, but with everything said and done, how's this kind of compared to the last two as far as just maybe just, how happy are you, I guess, compared to the last, couple, UFC appearances?
The build up and everything, just in general, that way was the best. Honestly, it was amazing just to see the fans, like cheering for this, wanting us to fight, and then just like the support that we've both gotten. It's been amazing. I love it. I absolutely really do love it. And man, I love it, man. I can't really explain it anything else, but I love it. Uh, the actual fight itself, I'm still a little bit upset with my performance. That first round got away from me. I man, again, I'm super harsh on myself. Uh, I'm like my own biggest critic, and I'm just not super impressed with myself. I got to go back and clean some things up.
Yeah. I know you said like you're not too happy with it, but I think as far as most fans and people like myself, we thought it was a great performance as far as like, and I think you even said in the post fight too. It was still an exciting fight, so it was a good fight for the fans. But when all said and done, like you said, the lead up to it, the actual getting the finish, getting another bonus too, like what is that like? Kind of like was this do for you too as far as confidence? Like it's going forward, and have you seen a big change in your fan base as well?
Yeah, I seen a change in my fan base as well. It's gotten stronger. My fan base has gotten stronger. They get more behind me because they now know I can go through adversity and still pull through. I can make adjustments and still pull through, and that just kind of that also helped me show what I've been saying for a very long time is man, like I'm not gonna quit. I'm not a quitter. I'm gonna keep going until you put me out, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Like that first round might have been a super tough round, but I'm just that guy that's never gonna quit. You have to literally put me out one way or another. You have to do your best to put me out, and I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna keep coming forward. And man, I'm kind of glad that it went that way a little bit, just because I was able to prove that. I say that a lot, but it actually feels kind of cool that I actually got to prove that.
Yeah. I want to let you know too. It's okay if you curse a little bit here too. I know DC got on you a little bit for that in the post fight. That was great.
Yeah, man. Oh man, it was I was in the moment, man. I was like, oh, fuck, man. I was like, I can't let that shit get away. And then I was just yeah, I was just too I was vulnerable at that moment. I was just kind of letting all the emotions kind of let slide out, and I let a couple go.
Yeah. And then too, like, just talk to me a little bit about this. Like, I know you probably talked about nauseum this time, but just as far as like Dr. Pepper, like Reese's thing too, like, because I just feel like in today's day and age too, it's like getting a finish over Randy Costa sometimes is not enough, right? Like you have to have personality and different things like that too. And you guys easily did that this fight too. So how did this kind of like come about? Like, was it just like a random thing?
Man, MMA Twitter kind of like went nuts for it, and it it all started with the fan saying telling Randy that he wouldn't fight me, and he was I saw that response and I was like, yeah, I'd absolutely fight you too. That'd be pretty cool. Be pretty fun. And then we both kind of clamored back and forth about it, and UC saw that, put it together, and yeah, it was literally the fans. The fans put it together, and we both were like, yeah, we do it for the fans. And then next you know, we're in the cage fighting. So it was pretty cool. We went. I kind of wish it was like 262, but the way it happened in this time around, I think it was a lot better. It was a lot better for the both of us. It got more time to build up with the fans and all that stuff. So that was a cool part.
Yeah. Did you actually get to meet up with Randy at the end? I know some of you guys were trying to plan. You're going to do the Dr. Pepper Reese's thing after the fight. Were you able to do that?
No, man. Like I said, like right after the fight, like right after I had to go do a whole bunch of media, and then once I got back to the hotel, I was changing, and then I got picked up by my manager, and we went to go grab a bite to eat. And once I got back, it was just too late. I had to try to get some type of rest before I had a 6 a.m. flight. I had to be at the airport by 4, so I could miss all that Vegas airport craziness. So, man, really didn't get a chance. Really didn't get a chance, and flew back. But we messaged back and forth a little bit, and you know, it's great. It's it's a good. We have a good rapport.
Yeah. Just to go into the fight a little bit too, what was it like too, especially like in those opening minutes too? Because I mean, he came out on fire.
Yeah, he came out on fire, man. He really wanted to put me out, and man, he had a really good game plan. I thought he was going to come out really kick oriented against me, and which like had me kind of like confused because he was coming out there jabbing, crossing, like doing keeping his range and doing all the right things at the right times, and it flustered me for a second to the point where I started looking for one shot, and I was coming nowhere close, and I kind of had to reassess myself and just kind of just shake my arms out, just start getting myself back into it. And man, like once I got back into it, that's whenever everything started happening. Like I started closing the distance, started doing all the right things. But I got single minded for a second, and he kept me single minded by keeping that jab in my face, and I had to keep my composure during that whole entire time. But during that whole entire time, I was working on his front leg a little bit. I was working on the front leg so I can like minimize his movements and keep him from coming forward and as much as he did. And I felt like that paid dividends.
Yeah, for sure. And
And
then also too, like the jab too, and just the speed was like, did you know the speed was there for him? Like, did you expect that coming in?
it was weird. His speed was different. It was really, really different because I saw all of them coming, but like the start of it was slow, but ended up fast. It was like it was the weirdest thing for me because he's also a little bit awkward. So I don't know if it was just his awkwardness too, but like his jab, like I saw the jab coming, but then out of nowhere it just snapped, and I was like, oh, like that was quick. That was super fast, and it caught me by surprise. It really did catch me by surprise. I had to readjust to it. I had to adjust to it, but
Mhm.
it's almost like because I'm so used to seeing everything so technical that after seeing something with a little bit of a switch up on it, it really caught me off guard. Uh, he's working with a great boxing coach in Florida, and you know I have no doubt that they were working on that a lot. So it worked out in his favor. But once I'm able to get my rhythm, you know I was able to start catching him here and there, started pairing his jab and jabbing and doing all the right things at that time. So it all worked out for me.
Yeah. You already talked about it a little bit too, but what do you gain from a performance like this where you said like, those first two performances, pretty flawless inside the octagon. This one, you had to work for it a little more. Like you said, you had to overcome like a little adversity too. You had to make, mid-fight adjustments too. So what do you take from that?
Yeah, absolutely. I do take that little bit of adversity. I'm able to take that back to the drawing board and learn. These last couple times, there's only like minimal things that I could really do. Like the first debut, I was only really able to look at just a couple things, man. I really didn't get to sit back like and just pick apart a lot of things. I felt like that debut was pretty flawless. I fought Gustavo and kind of wanted to be a little bit more active so I can go back and work on that. And then this fight like kind of gave me a lot of things that I can work on. So it's one of those that like, hey, I got a lot of things I can work on. I can tighten up a lot of things. So let's get back to the work. Let's start working. Getting this groove back and everything. So it makes it all better for me whenever I get to go back and learn and do that. So it's it benefits me in a lot of ways. Even though I did have to work and pull through and get that stoppage, it just worked out a lot of ways. It worked out a lot of ways because I get to learn, but also I get to come back with the victory and also with the performance bonus. And it also showed that I'm not a quitter. I'm gonna keep pushing to the very end. You have to put me out, and man, I think a lot of fighters, when if they're on a downward slope, they don't know how to turn that around. And I showed that even if I'm losing, I'm dangerous at all times. And, a lot of fighters are gonna have to look out for that.
Yeah. At least I'm like where I was like watching the fight too. It looked like Randy kind of started slowing down in that first. Did you feel like a change in his cardio?
Oh, it wasn't the cardio. Like it wasn't even uh like he even came out himself. even saying that it wasn't cardio, it wasn't a cardio issue. I felt like I was chopping his legs down, trying to limit his movement. That's in the very beginning. My first thing that I threw was an oblique kick.
Hmm.
Because I knew from the very beginning I couldn't let him walk forward, and I let him do that for like 3.5 minutes. But during that whole entire time, I was working that front leg a little bit, and then I was checking his upstairs kicks. There's one where I did check and he landed, and I just remember seeing that little buckle. And I was like, oh, so the kicks that I've been doing are working. So it was a bit of that. Then also too, I like there was a body shot that I ripped at the end of the first where it did hurt him, and he even came out and said like, yeah, that body shot hurt. And going into the second round, I knew that it was a lot to recover from because I like my not trying to toot my own horn, but I do work on that body shot a lot, and
Yeah.
in training I do drop people with that body shot a lot. So uh props for him to stand up. But I just knew once I got that control and I got my range, I was able to control a lot of it. And then also too with those jabs, I stopped his incoming attack by parrying and throwing the jab back, and it made him timid to throw. It wasn't a cardio issue at all. Like you can even ask Randy yourself. It wasn't cardio. He's trained by his strength conditioning coach is Dustin Poirier's strength conditioning coach.
Okay.
So like, yeah, so he's like he has the team behind him like to be in great shape. So it definitely wasn't. And if everybody's saying it is, man, they're kind of discrediting his camp and how he comes in shape and everything. But uh, man, it was a lot of just me doing what I do. It was me that caused the stone like him to slow down, like not to have so much of output because I was countering everything. I was coming forward. He's used to fighting on the front foot. Once to put him on the back foot, he's not he doesn't throw as much. So it was me. Like it was me. Like all props to Randy. He even came out and said that himself. So like big props for him. Because a lot of people are saying it was his cardio, but that wasn't the issue. It was
Yeah.
the technique.
Yeah, yeah, I remember like too, like you said, like in that second round too, you started off right with the kick too. I remember that pretty clearly too. But another moment of the fight I want to talk about too is pretty awesome too. Is DC had said something, you kind of had pointed at him. Just talk to me about that a little bit.
Yeah, no, he told me I should have started pairing his jab and jabbing back with him. And at the end of the first round, I started jabbing, throwing my own jabs at him, and that kind of started to make Randy shell up a bit. But towards the second round, I wasn't pairing Randy's jab and throwing my own. I was throwing him single like my own, just like without no parries, and I started doing that, intercepting Randy's jab and throwing my own jab, and man, it paid dividends and it worked. It worked 100%. So like once I got a little bit of a space and I still heard DC talking, I was like, "Yep, I heard you, DC." And after that, I just went back to work, and after that, it kind of went downhill for Randy at that point because I started pouring it on a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely not a big crowd for this one, but there was some people in the crowd there. What was that like too to have some cheering going on finally?
Man, it was fun. It was definitely fun. I wish it was a bigger crowd. I wish it was like it was the T-Mobile Stadium or the Toyota
Yeah.
Center because that would have been amazing. But having the little crowd there was pretty cool. I loved it. I loved every second of it. Most of the cheering I heard was for Randy. There's like probably only a one person cheering whenever I walked out, but there's like a lot of people cheering when he walked out. So it I was like, whatever. It's like fighting in front of no crowd, right? No fans right now. So that's how I took it. But no, it was fun. I loved that little bit of experience.
Yeah. And like we mentioned at the top too, three bonuses now. For this one, if you don't mind me asking too, like any plans to like with this money, you got anything in mind?
No, man. It's either I'm gonna be buying a house here pretty soon, or save and invest. Save and invest. I'm not becoming another 30 for 30.
There you go. And then also too, like what's next at this point too? I know you said you want to stay pretty active, I think until December. So ideally, when would you like to return?
September would be great for me. September, then November, then after that, take a 3 month hiatus and just kind of just chillax and work on some stuff. And after that, get back in 2022 and just kind of just bust my butt and work my way up to the top 15, top 20, top 5, then the belt. That's exactly what I want to do. So, yeah, what's next? I don't know. I'm gonna go back and work something out with my team, see what we can, see what matchups we like, and go on from there.
Yeah. And then obviously we can all see like the little cut on the nose and everything. We saw that on Saturday night as well. But I mean, like as far as like injuries, everything, you're pretty good after this one.
Oh yeah, I'm good. I had to go get an X-ray. The Nevada State Commission, they had me suspended for 180 days. It would be 21 days if it's not if I can get it if it's cleared by a doctor, which it will be. It's just they're just doing that for precaution. They even told me that at the Apex, like, look, it's like we just want to make sure it's not broken, so just go ahead and go. So they're just like, we know you're not, like, it's not, but we have to do this for reasons. So I was like, okay, that's fine. As long as I go get it cleared and go to the doctor as soon as possible. I want to get that out the way as soon as possible.
Yeah. And one of my last questions too, and you don't have to name any names or anything like that, but as far as like what's next for you too, I felt like a lot of people were kind of talking about this fight with Randy. A lot of people were surprised that you guys got matched up because you're both, two rising guys and things like that. So in your mind, as far as like, who you want next, do you have any like mind of like maybe the type of opponent you want next, as far as like maybe like someone in that like 20 to 25, maybe the top 15? Like what are you kind of looking at?
I definitely 2025. A win over Randy should definitely put me in the top 25, but this division is so, you don't know where you're really ranked at, man. It's a hard division to rank people in. The only rankings that really matter right now in the top 15. So I just want to get in from 25 to 16. That's where I want. That's where I want to be. That's where the sweet spot be right before I can start moving into the top 15. So I want someone in the top 16 and 25 for right now, and then after that, move into the top 15.
Yeah, well, I think if people weren't paying attention before, I think they're definitely paying attention now, Adrian, because I even saw on your Instagram too. Aljamain Sterling gave you a little shout out in one of his interviews.
Oh yeah, he did, man. It was great. It was really really great. I got the champ give me some props and everything. So it'd be pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, man. He knows that he takes a look and sees the skill, but now he got to see my mentality and my heart and my not give up. So he even knows even more now to what to expect from me. So when I get there and if he's still champ, he's gonna have his hand full.